was like, whatever. I was like, maybe I just like, to me, it's a movie. Life's a movie. This is a movie we're doing right here. Anything happening in my life right now is a movie. Going to prison was a movie. Like, I just think my life is more interesting than other people's. I never go, woe is me. I said, okay, well, movie's about to begin. Let's see what I could do. So then I just started getting jacked. I'm like, I'm going to get jacked. I'm going to be blasted. I'm going to be the guy I always wanted to be. The only guy I would listen to is the guy covered in prison tats that will just, if he wants to, he could take your life, like, with his bare hands and yours. Like, he will you off. That's the only guy I would ever listen to. And then if he's paid, now I'm listening to him more. If he's educated, I'm going to listen to him more. So I created this guy. That's the guy. That's the only guy I care about. If someone has a bunch of money and they're not like with the business, I'm like, who the f is this guy? Nobody gives a f. Hey, meet him outside. Take your back, this dude. You know.
Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know, like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking, and I highly appreciate it. It makes me very humble, right? So Wes Watson, blame it on the guard, right? Blame it on the abuse of anabolic steroids. That's the new excuse, right? I mean, it's something that a lot of us already knew he was dabbling in, but now it's out there. According to Wes Watson's lawyer, due to his abuse of anabolic steroids, he should be getting, they should be taking his sentence lightly. He should be given some action, right? Because this man wasn't in the right state of mind because of his abuse of roids. That's what they like to commonly refer to as roid rage. Maybe that's the reason why he's so arrogant, narcissistic, and he likes to beat up women. That could be the excuse right there. The fact is, regardless of what he was using to inebriate himself or to help his body grow, right? A man is responsible for what he does. Now, I took a closer look into what this lawyer said. And man, he had a good lawyer. I'm going to tell you that. On that case with the 7-foot monster, he definitely had a good lawyer, because this lawyer had me thinking about reasonable doubt, right? So being a content creator, I understand a little bit about what Wes Watson goes through. When you have several people making videos about you, and I can't be a hypocrite, I got to be real here, right? And for those of you that think, oh, you're taking it easy on Wes Watson, I'm just being real. You know, let's say Spencer. But this is just facts. For those that believe that I'm taking it easy on Wes Watson, I'm just stating the obvious. The obvious here is, as a content creator, I can identify with some of the things that he went through. I can't identify with the bullshit. I can't identify with the narcissistic behavior, thinking you're better than everyone else just because you have money. That I will never make excuses for or identify with, because I don't have any of that, and that's just not in my character. But one thing I can identify with is the hatred that Wes Watson receives for just doing his own thing. Okay? You have people like myself, people like John Bravo, Dubs, all these different content creators that are making content based off of Wes Watson, right? Some people hate him, some people love him, some people shake his paw, some people mug him, right? There's a lot of people that have different reasons or excuses for the reasons why they do their content based around Wes Watson. Me, myself, I'll keep it real. He piqued my interest a long time ago when he first was telling his prison stories, sitting on a park bench, getting his forehead shitted on by a pigeon, right? I loved listening to his stories, and as his stories went on, I started to realize that a lot of the things he was saying, there was a lot of holes through the stories, right? It's no big deal. Man, it's entertainment. You want to fire it up a little bit? Fire it up. I've been known to do so time after time, right? But at the end of the day, whether you add hot sauce to your entertainment or not, there's just certain things that you have to be real about. And having been an ex-convict, having been locked up the majority of my life, I just knew that some of the things he was saying were just crazy. And I felt he was steering people in the wrong direction as far as trying to give them advice, life coaching, when his life was all in disarray and it was built upon this character that he created, right? So I felt like the only way to, I guess, champion the people that he was manipulating was to create content based on his what he was saying and let people know the real. Like, I don't hate the man, I don't care, but at the end of the day, there are other people out there that are susceptible to the bullshit. And they literally believe that they could be just like Wes Watson or even better based upon his program, and that's bullshit. So it was obvious that this man was on a whole bunch of anabolic steroids. That was the trend, all that. That was right off the top. You could tell, anyone that knows. And you could tell that he started to rage a little bit more and more as he got deeper into that spoon, right? And so with that being said, anything that he was doing or saying, he wasn't in the right sound state of mind. So I could understand that. I could understand his lawyer bringing that up to the judge, allowing the judge to enter the understanding that Wes Watson was not of sound mind. He wasn't thinking rationally, but to blame it on a narcotic or blame it on something that someone is indulging in, and they know with the know. So the difference between right or wrong. And if you choose to do things that are wrong, that are going to affect your life dramatically or tremendously, then usually you step back. Now, there are addicts, people that can't stop, won't stop, right? And I understand that too. And I'm not placing total blame on Wes Watson in this situation. Maybe he got ahead of himself. He was just trying to get bigger and badder and better. And in doing so, he caught case after case. And now he ends up going to prison. But that's not the total kicker, right? What had this lawyer tripping me out was the way he broke it down. And I could identify, Wes Watson getting all this hatred. I get a lot of hatred myself. Threats, people saying they're going to pull up, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. It happens daily. And I pay it never mind for the most part. Sometimes some of the threats seem real. Sometimes it's just people talking caca. It's just people running their mouths, wanting to be noticed or wanting a hug or whatever the case may be. Hey, it is what it is. There's different strokes for different folks, right? You know what I'm saying, Willis? Right? It's just different things going on. But I could understand Wes Watson because of his behaviors and because of how big his channel was getting and how big of a persona that was out there. There were people that were literally hating on him or threatening him or dissecting his whole life. So in doing so, that can create anxiety, that can create paranoia. And Wes Watson, the attitude that he has, not only for the character that he created, but in real life, was the fuck it attitude, right? The I don't care. The I have an image to uphold. I'm an ex-convict. I rock that hard. So now I have to fight or flight, right? And his thing was fight. That's understandable, man. When you've been to prison, regardless of what yard you've been to, what level of prison you've been to, when you've been to prison in California or any other state, right? That changes your demeanor. That changes your mentality. That changes you as a person totally. You either become victim, you become predator or prey. And that's just straight up what it is. You have to have an understanding of where exactly you're at, what got you there, and what you're going to do while you're there. And look, the California mentality, where Wes Watson is from, San Diego, is viciousness. Okay, fighting. You can't let anyone see any weakness. That wood car that he was part of, brother, right? They don't show no weakness in the face of adversity. Okay, so I could understand where he's coming from is in his mental, that he has to defend his honor, defend his pride. And with a lot of people coming at you, a lot of people making threats, I think he got that. I think he came to a realization like, fuck it. If they're going to do what they're going to do, then, hey, why hide it? Why beat around the bush? Come on, let's go. And so I believe in doing that, he started to initiate threats of his own, as well as invitation for people to pull up. And the 7-foot monster pulled up. He didn't expect it that day, but I think Wes Watson was of the understanding that eventually somebody was going to catch him slipping. Someone was going to see him in public. Someone was going to pull up. So when that guy did, that dude went there with the intention of gaining clout off Wes Watson, pulling up for that fade that Wes Watson was throwing out there, inviting people to come fight him. And he did want to he wanted to gain some attention off of Wes. Lo and behold, he didn't expect Wes Watson and his crew to act the way they did. Once that man put hands on Wes Watson, touching him, Wes Watson's lawyer is saying the roid rage kicked in, the unknown, the threats, all that was Wes Watson's excuse to defend himself. Now, if someone comes and pushes you and puts hands on you and they're big and they're intimidating, even if you called them out, even if you said, hey, man, anybody pull up, we can catch that fade. Still, when that happens, in that split second, you have to make a choice. You could either run or you could defend yourself. Now, I believe Wes Watson defending himself was righteous. That's just facts. I believe once that dude put hands on him, Wes Watson had every right to throw hands back, right? If he felt threatened. Now, I don't believe Wes Watson had the right to kick him on the ground in the face, to say the N-word when he was down. It was overkill. He overdid it. He did too much. And I think that's what people are focusing on the most, rather than the defense of oneself. It's the overkill that he did. You know, Wes Watson got to a point in that assault where he knew he had the upper hand now. He knew it was over, and he kept going and going. And he knew the camera was rolling. He knew there was footage being made inside that gym. He knew that when it would come out, that would prove to people just how big and bad Wes Watson, the big old character of Wes Watson, truly is. And so he let that money, he let that clout, he let that fucking character overtake his simple thinking, right? And in doing so, he created this chaos. Now, he was given 21 months, 7 years probation, and he has to do some mental health screening as well as a mental health video to help people realize, you know, in that situation, what you should and should not do. It's the first time I ever heard that a judge makes an addendum to the case where you have to utilize your platform for mental health. But I could see where he's coming from. If you utilized it for manipulating people, bullshitting them, conning them for so long and lying to them, why not use it for some good? And so the judge ordered that. Now, there's a new thing going around. I guess the lawyer and Wes Watson are not committed to this guilty plea. They are not happy with the 21-month sentence. I would be very happy. He got lucky. He was facing 15 years on that case. And it could have went the other way if he didn't have a good lawyer. And money talks, most definitely. But if he didn't have a great lawyer, a lawyer that can spin a narrative, a fairy tale, a lawyer that could blame it on the roids, a lawyer that can say he was being threatened on YouTube and other social media platforms and make him look out to be the victim, then he definitely would have got probably 8, 9, 10 years. Now, if they could have utilized his record from California and other states or wherever he's been incarcerated at, then that definitely would have played a part. But hey, Wes Watson got a great deal. He took the 21 months, and he's out of there. Or is he? According to what I read, there's a new twist in the situation. The lawyer is going to meet with prosecutors again at the end of this month, hoping to lower the sentence in jail time. What I think the lawyer's trying to do is to get less time so that way Wes Watson will have time served so that he can be released and fight this other case in Broward County, the domestic issue between him and his fiance or ex-fiance or soon-to-be wife, whatever she is at this point, right? Look, will that happen? I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen someone plead guilty and take a deal and then have their lawyer double back later on, you know, hold off sentencing, because just so you guys know, he has not been sentenced quite yet. See, people think automatically you get sentenced right then and there. In most cases, that's the case. In this one, it is not. So what Wes Watson did was he admitted guilt in the assault. They dropped one of the felonies and he took a lesser charge. And in doing so, the deal that the district attorney put on the table was 21 months incarceration, credit for time served, which I think he has 7, 8 months credit for time served, 7 years felony probation. And that sucks. Felony probation, that means any little thing you do, you're on their mind. You're on their mind. Hey, right? It's just not good. Probation is worse than parole. Anybody that's ever been locked up will tell you probation is, especially felony probation, is way worse. Now, whether he was given bench probation or felony probation, those are two different things. But from what I'm reading, it's felony probation. And then he has to do those videos. That will be upon release. And that stipulation, I don't know if it's going to hold up, if he's going to ever do those. I think he'll get out and just get to pushing. But his lawyer has decided to go before the district attorney again because Wes Watson was given this deal, but he was not sentenced yet. That means the judge has not implemented sentence. It is ultimately up to the judge. Whatever deal the district attorney puts out there for Wes Watson doesn't automatically mean that's what he gets. He could admit guilt in the case and say, yes, I'm going to take this deal. And the judge can add to it or lessen it. That's the truth and the facts here. That's just like with the Carmelo Anthony case. Ultimately, the decision for justice was at the footstep of the judge, and the judge chose to give him the 30 years. He could have gave him 99 years, 90 years, could have gave him 2 years, whatever he wanted to give him. It's ultimately up to the judge. The judge can, at the end of the day, reject this plea. He could say it doesn't fit the crime based upon the preponderance of evidence, right? So Wes Watson isn't out of the woods yet in this particular case. But 99% of the time, the judge just goes with the district attorney's, what the district attorney wants. So that's usually how it goes. The recommendation of the district attorney is usually the judge is not going to rock the boat, right? He feels that the district attorney has seen this case, investigated it, knows the ins and outs of the case. And in the court of law, the court just wants justice for the victim. And that's pretty much what it is. So they usually go with the recommendation by the district attorney. Now, in this case, Wes Watson's lawyer has decided to approach the district attorney and try to work out a better deal. Will it happen? Look, I'm not going to sit here and say no. With Wes Watson, people expected him to do all day. And guess what? 21 months later, right? So anything is feasible and possible when it comes to Wes Watson. Like I said, people with money move differently. People with great lawyers get better action. If he would have had a public defender, he wouldn't have been defended from the public. Okay, that's just the facts. So we'll see what happens, but he does have action, allegedly. According to this lawyer, if he goes up and presents a case how Wes Watson can be reformed, maybe put into a halfway house, or maybe something different that the district attorney feels is a better option, then the Wes Watson could be getting out soon. Now, that doesn't mean that the charges go away in Broward County. And also, I wanted to give a little bit of a different take as well, because me and Dubs were discussing it yesterday. And this is the truth. If Wes Watson, is sentenced to this case, meaning he goes before a judge later on this month and sentencing is imposed, he will immediately be taken to prison within a week or two. In the Carmelo Anthony case, he was taken to prison the next day. But usually, and I don't know how Florida works, you usually go on the next chain to prison. Now, again, I said he'll probably go to a minimum facility based upon the case factors here in this case, or it could be a medium facility prison. Either way, he'll be shipped out. Now, there is a chance that because he has this other case pending in Broward County, that they would say, you know what, why ship him to the state and waste money? Let's just ship him back down to Broward County because he's in Dade County, I believe, right now. Let's ship him over there so he could deal with this. And that way he could probably get either a consecutive term or a concurrent term. We could figure all this out and then send him to prison. I don't think that's the case. I think he'll go to prison and be called back to court. That's usually how they do it when you have cases hanging over your head. But crazier things have happened. I could be wrong, right? So Wes Watson's not out of the woods yet, but it's looking real good in this case. Now, what's not looking good is his pockets. And I'll tell you right now, by admitting guilt in this case, he helped the civil lawsuit out tremendously. Even though the 7-foot monster was caught lying during his interviews by the district attorney, even though he was fabricating some of his story, the facts are there's video evidence, there's videos put out there. There's a lot of people, a lot of experts and lawyers that have spoken on this case. And when it comes to the civil lawsuit, this guy is going to get cashed out. He's going to hurt Wes's pockets tremendously. Now, whether Wes Watson was moving money around or doesn't have the money that he says he has, that's still going to put him in the hole, right? And now he still has, remind you, this case with this woman. Now, if this woman decides to go all the way with it, Wes Watson's in tremendous trouble. But even more so, he could be facing more of a civil lawsuit when it comes to her. And the way these women are that Wes Watson was hanging around, $1 will make her holler, right? So This could be a situation where it is the demise of Wes Watson, even if he does less time in prison than people expected him to. But this blaming it on the roids and saying, oh, it was the roids, it wasn't him. No, you choose to put in your body what you choose to put in your body, knowing the repercussions for that, knowing at the end of the day what that shit does to you. You know, Wes Watson sat there and told us at 2 and 3 in the morning, his aura wakes everyone up and he's committed and he's committed to the gym and all that. And all he did was feed a whole bunch of bullshit to people who believed and were easily manipulated. They believed him when at the end of the day, he was shooting shit in his ass, which he's been doing for several years, right? And that's how he was able to get them gains. All these dudes in this community, 99% of them that will sit there and bullshit you and tell you to eat oatmeal all day or eat this or eat that and do this and do that. There's no way they're looking the way they're looking, just eating fucking oatmeal, 3 egg whites, and a steak. Okay, I'm telling you guys right now, there's always something tricky behind it. Now, Wes Watson's utilizing that as an excuse to get less time for beating up a man who, yes, did challenge him. And like I said, hey, Wes Watson had every right to take that fade and to defend himself. No doubt about it. Whether you like Wes or not, that's the truth. But he did do a little bit overkill. And for that, that's why he's sitting down for 21 months. Do I believe the time fits the crime? I do. I do. Actually thinking about it, I mean, that's man versus man. That's 2 grown men fighting. You know, at the end of the day, besides the N-word and all the other bullshit, which no one seems to be tripping on, you can't lock someone up for the N-word, right? I think he got justice. 21 months for a fight, that's more than most people get, right? It's not like Wes Watson went and seeked this guy out and went and jumped in his window and hit him in the head with a weight belt. This guy came up to him, pushed him, challenged him, and Wes Watson handled his business. That's just the truth. Now, in this other case, putting hands on a woman, throw the book at him. Let me know what you guys think. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. Now, I know there's going to be dudes that are like, man, why are you defending Wes Watson? Well, I'm defending truth. And that's just what it is, man. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Central Valley in the 209 area, pull up. Go get you some cold to drink at Barrio Liquors, #1 liquor store in Central Valley. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you say Gunners Collective sent you, you'll get a 10% discount. Jump on that. Make sure you Google if you're in the Tucson area and get you some yard work done by Sticks and Stones. He'll break your bones, but his yard work will never hurt you. This is the gun. Bang, bang.